This is how I'm investing $2,500 for the month of June. Every month I have some expenses that I have to pay, I get a paycheck, and I do a simple subtraction because I'm good at math, and everything that's left over, I try to invest in one way or another. And for the month of June, I had around $2,650 left over and wanted to invest it together on camera. As always, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, smash the comment button, and smash your laptop and other electronic devices if you want to learn more about money, how to save it, how to invest it, or just better understand it. And as always, this is not financial advice, this is just an opinion of a simpleton in the hopes that someone might learn a thing or two and not waste their money on some random meme coin, Doberman Shepherd to the moon. Even if one person doesn't lose their money, mission accomplished. The biggest chunk of my money went into the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is essentially the 500 biggest companies in the United States of America. It has companies from Apple and Microsoft in the tech sector to Johnson & Johnson in the healthcare sector, and also payment providers like Visa and MasterCard, insurance companies. Basically, every industry is encapsulated in these 500 companies. For the last year, this index has been up around 30%, and for the last 5 years, it's been returning about 20% on average. And all these companies have a pretty global presence as well, with operations not just in the United States of America, but in North America, Asia, Africa, basically every continent. So you don't have to worry about geographical diversification. And I put this money in the S&P 500 through this ETF called VFV, but there's so many ETFs out there that track the S&P 500. You shouldn't have a problem in investing in any of these. My second investment was in a NASDAQ 100 ETF. The NASDAQ 100 are essentially 100 of the biggest companies in the United States. And as you might have guessed by now, 100 is less than 500 because we're very good at math. So this is more concentrated and has a higher risk to return ratio. Another thing with the NASDAQ is that it's extremely tech dominated, especially with Nvidia, Apple, Google, and Microsoft doing really well in the past few years. So if you believe in the tech sector, this might be for you. But if you don't, you might want to look at other investment vehicles. I love tech though. I think I'm a very technologically savvy, very good with technology. So I put my money in the NASDAQ 100 as well through this ETF called HXQ. The third investment that I made was in Ethereum. You might be thinking I'm about to lose all of my money, but calm down, it's only $150 and it's to partake in the crypto market as well. Crypto does have some very interesting use cases, for example, for decentralized finance, where they can increase the movement of money from one account to another quite rapidly when compared to traditional banking methods that take days. And a lot of these products are being built on the Ethereum blockchain. Even though crypto is very volatile, so I don't know if this is going to go up or down, I do think there is some value to be had if you were a long-term investor in this industry, especially if you're investing in cryptocurrencies like Ethereum that a lot of companies and startups are using to build their products. So $150 gone there. My fourth investment, and this might be a bit of a surprise, was in American Express. Yes, the credit card company American Express has been growing at a rapid rate in the last few years, having nearly doubled their revenue from 2020. That's double in 3 years. And I think the potential for Amex is going to be even greater in the future, since my conviction is that travel is not going anywhere and Amex is going to keep on dominating the travel credit card market. Of course, as with any individual company, investing in individual companies is pretty risky, so I only bought one share, and also I could only afford really one share of individual companies. And most of my money, as you've seen, will be in ETFs or exchange trade funds, funds that hold a large basket of companies. My next investment was in Google. We all know Google search engine. You can use it to search anything. You can also watch YouTube as you're doing right now, which, by the way, like and comment and subscribe, of course. And they also have a huge cloud business where they provide companies with cloud services for storage that they can integrate onto their products and not have to pay for on-premise data storage, which is extremely expensive. This division is called Google Cloud, and it has grown at an exponential rate in the last decade and doesn't look to be slowing down, especially with all of these AI offerings being integrated into it, which also leads me to Gemini, something that I think Google has messed up so far with very bad product launches. Although this is Google, and I believe that since Google has one of the most amounts of data of any company on the planet, they are going to figure out their AI offering one way or another. And even if they somehow fall flat on that, they still have Google Cloud to fall back on. They dominate the advertising market and have consistently grown and increased their margins in the last few years. I don't see myself personally or the people around around me stopped using Google Maps or even Gmail that a lot of businesses and companies prefer. So I think it's a decent enough investment to buy one share of. I just don't have that much money. I can only buy one share of these companies since once again, I want most of my money to be in ETFs since that's more secure. My next investment was in Pepsi. This is kind of surprising because I don't even drink Pepsi, but Pepsi just doesn't make Pepsi. They make a lot of things. They have Pepsi, Lay's, Quaker, Gatorade, 7-Up, Doritos, Druffles. They basically stock around 50% of the snack and drinks market in any major retailer that you go to. With food prices increasing over the years and also population increasing over the years in a lot of countries, I think Pepsi's offering and international expansion is going to be decent in the next few years. Their supply chain is one of the best amongst companies in the world. They have cash on hand to buy brands that are doing well that they can add on to their portfolio as well, something that they've done in the past plenty of times. And their big relationship with retailers is also very important since retailers are codependent on Pepsi as well, since a lot of people like Pepsi products. One of the other reasons that I bought Pepsi was since I believe that it's not been doing well for the last year or so, being down around 9 to 10%, which I think is not reflective of the company's true potential, where companies that make way less revenue and way less profit are valued at way more. And I understand the hype around AI and technology, but I do think these physical product stocks like Pepsi are not going to go anytime soon, and their products are going to be consumed way down the line as well. So once again, I bought one share of Pepsi. My next investment was in the Canadian stock market, the land of the maple leaves and the land of hockey. The Canadian stock market has been beaten down in the last few years and has lagged the US stock market by a substantial percentage. But I think Canadian companies, especially banks, utilities, and other main services are not going to go anywhere, especially with the booming population that Canada has. With all these people coming into the country and finding a new life and a new job and buying a new house, services like utilities and financials like banking and insurance are not going to go anywhere, and everybody's going to need them. So I do want to partake in the Canadian economy, which is why I bought VDY, an ETF tracking the TSX 60. A big advantage of this ETF also is that the dividend yield is extremely high, currently at around 4.8%, which essentially means that if I invest $100 in this ETF right now, I get paid back $4.8 in dividends. Not a bad deal, especially if you're in it for the long run and do believe in the country's economy. My last two investments are going to be grouped together, and they were in covered call ETFs. Tracking the S&P 500 and the TSX 60, I invested in HYLD and HDIV. Covered call ETFs are extremely interesting, and there's pros and cons of investing in them. I don't want to go down into the nitty-gritties of what a covered call actually is, but I'll try my best to summarize it the best I can, given that I am good at math. Let's say that you buy 100 shares of a stock that you really like. In this case, let's say Apple, and the price of Apple is currently at $100. It isn't, but in this example, let's just assume so. Now you think Apple is going to do well, but not that well in the short run. You think the price of Apple is going to stay below $105 a month from now. So you sell a call on it. A call option is essentially a contract that gives someone else the right, but not the obligation, to buy your shares at a specific price within a certain period of time. So in this case, exactly a month from now is the time, and the price is 105. The key thing to note here is that they have the right but not the obligation, meaning they don't have to do it if they don't want to. And why would you want to do this in the first place? Because you get money for writing this contract. So in this example, let's say that you'll get $150 for selling this contract to someone else. Two things can happen here. Either you're right or you're wrong. If you're right and Apple actually is trading below 105, let's say at 102, there's no incentive for the person that owns this contract to buy these shares from you at 105 because they can just buy them in the market for $102. Let's say that you're wrong though, and Apple goes to 110. This is where the call option kicks in. They're going to exercise that call option, which basically means they're going to buy those shares from you at 105 and sell them at 110, which is the market price. So I hope those basics sort of make sense, that you do get income from selling that call, but the upside potential is sort of capped because if the stock overperforms, you're going to have to sell your stock to these people that have the contract and lose out on the upside potential of the stock itself. This is a big debate in the investment community, whether the income style style of investment, as they call it, or covered call investing, is a good method of investing or not, because it almost always underperforms buying and holding the stock. But you do get immediate income, so there's pros and cons. If you're an income-focused investor, I'm not really an income-focused investor, but I just think this is an interesting concept. So I invest in covered call ETFs as well. It's nice to get paid every month when it comes to dividends, and I want to see if this strategy is sustainable for the long run as well. Once again, this is not a big percentage of my portfolio, but just enough to keep me interested. So those were my investments for the month. As always, you always invest for the long term and never for short-term gains, because those are extremely risky and there's high probability that you're going to lose your money and make nothing at all. I hope you learned something and are going to protect your money. Smash the like button, smash the comment button, smash the subscribe button, and any electronics around you if you're interested in learning more about money, how to invest it, or just better understand it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.